For a very long time, there has been an established and civilized divide concerning how Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life, legacy, and service is celebrated by daughters and sons of Africa worldwide. Thanks to Stevie Wonder, Dr. King's family, friends, and closest confidants, who sat down with the Reagan administration and negotiated having his birthday declared as a national holiday. Thanks to their persistence, the overwhelming majority of U.S.-born Africans celebrate him on his birthday, which is January 15, 1929, as Stevie Wonder's song says, on the day he came to be. However, the more militant and uncompromising forces deliberately celebrate Dr. King on April 4th as a reminder of the day when the enemies of our movement and all humanity cowardly snatched his life away from us because they knew Dr. King had come full circle as a freedom fighter and warrior.
If your intention is to fully absorb the impact of Dr. King's contributions and the undying commitment to our people, one should understand from the very outset, merely scratching the surface has no value whatsoever.
We, the African children of today, feel historically obligated to snatch Dr. King back from those who ruthlessly exploit our history and culture, pretend to uphold his legacy, but at the same time are diametrically opposed to everything he stood for.
The Kennedy brothers JFK and RFK always tried to hitch themselves to Dr. King's star, yet they gave J. Edgar Hoover the green light to bug the telephones everywhere he laid his head.
The hatchet job on Dr. King's legacy is clear as day, and we have seen it before. Reducing Dr. King to his I Have a Dream speech is the equivalent of reducing Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois to the souls of black folk, Dr. Carter G. Woodson to the miseducation of the Negro, and reducing the most honorable Elijah Muhammad to his monumental book, Message to the Black Man.
Even though Dr. King was on the front line for 13 years, from 1955 to 1968, and lived to only be 39 years of age, he is said to have made 2,500 speeches and traveled 6 million miles. When you're in pursuit of a people's liberation, no journey or destination is far enough.
These churches compete with each other over who will have the best Dr. King birthday tribute forces us to raise a rather timely and genuine question. How many of them would have allowed him to preach in their churches, knowing that the repercussions could have been not just extremely severe, but deadly?
In the name of Dr. King, let it be known, our family, bloodline, and bloodshed for liberation are one and the same.
Life's most urgent and persistent question is, what are you doing for others?
Put yourself in the state of mind where you say to yourself, here's an opportunity for me to celebrate like never before. My own power and my own ability to do whatever is necessary. Change does not roll on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. And so we must straighten our backs and work for our freedom. A man cannot ride you unless your back is bent. We must build this legs of courage to hold back the flood of fear.
And we will not remember the words of our enemy, but the silence of our friends.
A man or woman who isn't fit to die for someone isn't fit to live.
Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed.
Courage faces fear and nearby masters it. We must subtitle for consciousness.
Science investigates, religion interprets. Science gives man knowledge, which is power. Religion gives man wisdom, which is key. Science mainly deals with facts. Religion mainly deals with values. These two are not rivals.
The true measures of a man is not how he behaves in moments of comfort and convenience, but how he stands at times of controversy and challenges.
Every man must decide whether he will walk in the light of creative altruism or in the darkness of destructive selfishness.
We have the privilege of noticing in our generation the great drama of freedom and independence as it unfolds in Asia and Africa. All these things are in line with the unfolding work of Providence.
The nation is sick. Trouble is in the land. Confusion is all around. That's a strange statement, but I know somehow that only when it's dark enough can you see the stars.
The nations of Asia and Africa are moving with jet-like speed toward political independence, and we still creep at horse and buggy pace toward the gaining of a cup of coffee at a lunch counter.
History cannot ignore Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, because history has to reflect truth, and Dr. Du Bois was a tireless explorer, gifted discoverer of social truth.
But he was in exile, only to the land of his birth. He died at home in Africa among his cherished ancestors, and he was ignored by pathetically ignorant America, but not by history.
1.
There are more than just incantations for clever phrases designed to invigorate a campaign. There are as old as the history of the Negro in America. There are the adaptations of the songs the slaves sang, the sorrow songs, the shouts for joy, the battle hymns, and the anthems of our movement.
An important part of the mass meetings were the freedom songs. In a sense, the freedom songs were the soul of the movement.
There's nothing new about poverty. What is new is that we now have the techniques and resources to get rid of poverty. The real question is whether we have the will.
The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education.
I have almost reached the regretful conclusion that the Negro's greatest stumbling block in the stride toward freedom is not the white citizens' counselor or the Ku Klux Klaner, but the white moderate who is more devoted to order than justice.
Who prefers a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice? Who constantly says, I agree with the goals you seek, but I can't agree with your methods of direct action?
Who paternalistically can set the timetable for another man's freedom?
No great victories are won in a war for the transformation of a whole people without total participation. Less than this will not create a new society. It will only woke more sophisticated token admiration, Dr. King. No se gana grandes victorias en una guerra por la transformación de todo un pueblo sin participación total. Menos que esto no crea una nueva sociedad, solo invocará una mejora simbólica más sofisticada, Dr. King.
Thank you, Dr. King, for putting flowers on the grave of Marcus Mosiah Garvey when you visited Jamaica.
Thank you, Dr. King, for making important connections to Mother Africa.
Thank you, Dr. King, for causing the FBI and CIA many sleepless nights.
Thank you, Dr. King, for calling a poor people's campaign. Who in their right mind wants comfort and luxury without liberation and dignity?
Please study Dr. King. Dare to look like Dr. King. And I draw this for Dr. King.
Please study Dr. King. Dare to live like Dr. King.
Please study Dr. King. Dare to live like Dr. King.
Dr. King. Dare to live like Dr. King.
Be steady, Dr. King. I dare you to live like Dr. King.
Study Dr. King and dare to be like Dr. King. And also, it's Dr. King's birthday.